Are you tired of things not working out in your life? Are you tired of always doing the same thing and not getting the results that you want? Are you tired of being unlucky? Well, if that's you and you're sick and tired of it and you just want to change and you want to see some results once and for all, then this is for you because I'm talking about how the lack of discipline is going to make you ugly. I'm going to explain to you exactly why you're not actually getting the results that you want. And I'm going to give you the formula, which is very simple for you to get the results that you actually want. So today we're talking about discipline. We're talking about discipline. I only have 5 minutes because I got things to do, people. But I am here for you. So I did prepare a very nice slide for you. And it's right here. It is this. There we go. You'll become ugly without discipline. Now, as you can see here, this is my picture. And the reason I put it up there is because without discipline, there is absolutely no way at all that I could have achieved this. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a kind of like a glimpse of the story of what happened after I received it, and I'll work backwards. So after I got that result and started posting pictures and whatever, and people saw, how my body is and whatever, or was, I'm not really like this now. But people started thinking that I was on something. I was either on testosterone or steroids or whatever it is. And a lot of people approached me and they're like, what are you taking? Are you doing anything illegal or whatever? Because I went from, I showed you guys the picture before in another podcast where I was just holding my big belly. I got really fat. And to this in literally 3 months. So, and I could not have done that without discipline, without the waking up. I was waking up at around 3 a.m., going to the gym right away, working out for an hour to an hour and a half. I was really pushing it, and I was very disciplined with my food. I was prepping my meals once a week, and I was eating only the things that I prepared for myself. And so I was incredibly disciplined. And so with that effort, I was able to achieve what you see on the screen here in a matter of 3 short months, believe it or not. So as you can see here, it says discipline leads to self-respect, which leads to attractiveness. Without discipline, which is doing things that you don't want to do at a specific time and date on a consistent basis, that's the definition of discipline. If you don't have discipline, if you don't actually act on discipline, then there's no way for you to actually be self-respecting, because the definition of self-respect is respecting your time. Because if you respect your time, meaning you don't waste your time, you don't do things that are frivolous, you don't do things that don't actually end up giving you any kind of results. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if the time that you're using the time, but you're actually producing, you're actually doing things that are going to get you results. If you're doing that, then you're respecting time. If you're respecting time, you are respecting yourself because you are living in that time. That is the definition of self-respect. That is the top level definition of self-respect. Now, if you have self-respect, you're not wasting time. You're actually using your time being productive, whether in public or private, then you become attractive. Why do you become attractive? Because you start having this aura around you. Like when you walk, people see it. Now, when you're not wasting time, you're not doing things that you shouldn't be doing, i.e. you're not eating junk food. Like the things. No one has to tell you what you have to do. Okay? No one has to tell you what is good for you, what's bad. Everyone knows. So if you're doing those things, you're going to be walking in a place because your body's going to be so magnificent. You're going to be walking with an aura that you don't have to say anything, but yet everyone notices. And that is attractiveness. Attractiveness is the power that you have of getting people to be attracted to you or gravitated to you with awe, right? When you get attention with awe, not just attention because you're being silly or attention because you're doing something stupid, but attention from the perspective of being they're awestruck. They're like, who is this person? That is the result of discipline. Now, check this out. This is me, and I told you about that. And no, I didn't take any steroids or anything like that. This was strictly discipline. This is coming from the book called Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. Now, this book is really incredible because, Ryan Holiday by himself, he's a young man, but he's very, very well written. He's written a lot of good books. And one of the books is this one, Discipline is Destiny. I highly recommend that you actually read it because he discusses some things in there that actually inspires you to be more disciplined. And it breaks it out in 3 parts, which is the exterior, which is the body. And notice how the first part, he puts it as the first part. The first part of his book is the body, because if you don't deal with the exterior, you don't deal with the first part, which is the body. The body's connected to the mind. There's always a body mind connection. And so if you don't actually make your body the best, then it becomes very hard to move to the second step, which is the inner, which is your temperament. What he calls the temperament, meaning like how calm are you under duress, under pressure? How much can you handle under duress? So without the first, which is you actually taking care of your body physically, then the second doesn't actually happen, no matter how much you try. And then the third after that, so after you take care of the first, which is the exterior, and then the interior, then he calls it the discipline of the magisterial, which is the soul, focusing on the soul. And this here is a really cool quote that I thought I want to share with you. And this is from Ryan Holiday in his book. And he says, name someone truly great without self discipline. Now, and I'm sure you cannot think of anybody that's great without self discipline, without actually having self discipline. But he says, name one calamitous undoing that was not, at least in part, rooted in a lack of self discipline. Meaning, what's calamitous? Calamitous means, from the word calamity, like something really bad, i.e., unlucky. If you're feeling unlucky, if you're unlucky, then you have to examine yourself and say, okay, well, am I actually being disciplined? Is this the result of me being disciplined, which is highly unlikely of you being unlucky? Or is it a result of being undisciplined? Am I wasting my time? Am I not respecting myself? Am I not being the person that I should be on a consistent basis? Am I not being disciplined? So that's the thing that you have to actually ask yourself. All right. Now, freedom requires discipline. Okay. Now that goes without saying, but I mean, this is in Ryan Holiday's book. He says freedom requires discipline. Now, a lot of people, what we think is that we think that with discipline, that means that you lack freedom. It's actually the exact opposite. That's why I put that there. When someone puts in their mind, oh, you have a schedule, or you have things like, basically you're disciplined with your time. Well, then people think you're shackled. As a matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. Because you're doing so much more with your time, that is literally the definition of freedom. Freedom is the ability to be able to maximize the time that you have, the very short period of time that you have while you're alive. And that is a definition of freedom. Freedom is the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whomever you want. That's freedom. Well, how do you achieve that without discipline? So that's why it says freedom requires discipline. Okay. Consistency is a superpower. Now, I love that. Okay, he said that as well. Consistency is a superpower. The reason why I really like that is because power, and I looked that up, actually. It wasn't in his book. Power, the definition of power is possession of control. So, a lot of people, they want to feel like they're in control, because the opposite of control is feeling out of control. And that causes you to be high anxiety, high stress, depressed, sad, when you don't feel like you're in control of your life. You feel like no matter what you do, things are not working out. No matter how much effort you put in, you're not getting the result. You're not in control. Well, I mean, that is the definition. You lack power, right? But for you to actually get power, as it says there, consistency. Consistency is a superpower. So not only are you going to be incredibly in control and have power, if you do it consistently, you're going to be incredibly super power. I want to put a picture of Superman, but there was a copyright against that, so I couldn't. So you're going to get that. But I mean, that's basically it. And here's a little part there from the book itself. He says, consistency involves the ability to endure what John Steinbeck called dawdle days. Dawdle days, the dawdle days, right? Which is those days when everything seems out of whack. Those days where it's like, the distractions are to the utmost. You can't really focus on anything. We all have those days. They call it dawdle days. So he's saying that consistency involves you showing up to whatever program you got for yourself, whether the gym or school, studying, work, at 100%, irrespective of those dawdle days. because we all have those dawdle days where you just can't focus or too much distraction or you just can't get things done. But that is the definition of consistency. Okay. We all relate to it. Checklists. Okay. So he says checklist is the answer for you to be disciplined. And the person who came up with the checklist manifesto, he said that checklist gets the dumb things out of the way so that you can elevate your mind to do the smart, hard things. Because without a checklist, you're using energy that you could be using to be incredibly productive at doing things that actually require that energy and that mental stamina. So, checklists actually frees you. It's a freedom tool. But a lot of people think if you have a checklist, you're actually not in control. It's the exact opposite, people. Stop fooling yourself. Hey, now, the last, but certainly not least, is this here, which is, can you get back up? And I put this picture, I will bounce back. Can you get back up? Now, inevitably, we're all going to get knocked down, and we're going to get knocked down not by anyone else, but by our lack of results, our disappointments. We're going to keep getting knocked down. Me being the first, right? I'm telling you right now, being knocked down sucks, and I'm sure you can relate. There's not a human being that hasn't been knocked down. Now, the cool thing is that the more successful the person is, the more they've been knocked down. So if you see all these successful people, they've been knocked down a ton of times, even if they don't show it because they're being stoic. So that's it for today, people. It's, by the way, today is episode number 60. Episode 60. Today marks episode 60. I've been going 60 days straight. I'm going to 300. Has nothing to do with the movie, but I'm going to 300. Day 60. Thank you for tuning in. I'm noticing more and more people are actually seeing this and watching. And actually, there's the watching time is increasing and people are interacting more. I'm really glad that this is benefiting you. I am intermixing it between, power, the power of the mind, the mindset, and self-discipline and motivation, as well as dentistry, because I've spent 9.5 years practicing dentistry, coming on to my 10th. And so, I'm giving you all this knowledge so that you can be more empowered. Hope you're having a great day. Be well, stay disciplined, and as always, keep smiling. Good night. Oh, shoot. There was a question. Do you have any information? Do you have any information course on how to become this pumped within 3 months? I actually do. It's coming out very soon. Thanks for asking. Yes, I do. It's coming out very soon. I'm working on a few things first. But yes, I do have a course that I'm going to come out with. Stay tuned. I'm going to release it very soon. And so for those people that follow it, you can actually get that in 3 months or maybe even less. Who knows? Good night.